I'm trying to wait. Sorry, I had to take my headset off. I couldn't hear. All right, so I want to introduce myself. My name is Tashia Green-Williams. I am one of the co-logistics people for this event, and I'm an organizer at Massachusetts Jobs with Justice.
And good morning. My name is Monique Nguyen, and I'm Executive Director of the Matahari Women's Worker Center in Boston. Thank you so much for having us, and we're a co-sponsor here, and so I'm so excited to stand together with families for families.
Great, so we're gonna have an opening acknowledgement of the land given by Matowi.
My name is Matowi, and I'm co-leader of United American Indians of New England, and I'm also representing our newly formed collective bargaining unit of United Auto Workers, Local 2320, National Organization of Legal Services Workers. We begin today by acknowledging that we are on the stolen and unceded land of the Massachusetts indigenous people. Land traversed also by the Nipmuc, Wampanoag, and other Native nations. Land that continues to be inhabited by them and by indigenous peoples from throughout the Americas. I make this acknowledgement out of gratitude and respect, and to let everyone here know that no one is illegal on stolen land. I also want you to understand that we are in fact not all a nation of immigrants. I speak today in memory of all those who have died crossing into the US and elsewhere, in particular in memory of Roxana Hernandez, Marco Antonio Munoz, and Jose Azurdia, all dead from being in ICE custody. And Claudia Patricia Gomez Gonzalez, a 20-year-old Maya who was murdered by the US Border Patrol. As an Indigenous mother, I condemn the state-sanctioned violence that has been perpetrated against migrant children and families under the Trump administration and under the Obama administration before that. My heart breaks for the Aztec, Zapotec, Maya, and other children who have been caged for traveling through indigenous territories. The borders that have been imposed by the US are not our traditional indigenous boundaries, and all our people should have the right to travel freely. The US has a lengthy history of terrorizing indigenous and black families, ripping children out of the arms of their mothers during the times of slavery, kidnapping children to send them to Indian residential schools and massacring children, stealing our children from our communities via police killings and lynchings and disproportionate rates of foster care and imprisonment. Cruelly separating brown and black families is as American as George Washington. As workers, as students, as oppressed people, we are in an emergency. To change things, we need to use every tactic we can, including going after the corporations that are profiting from these detention centers. Don't listen to politicians who tell you we need to be polite. We are going to need to speak out loudly and impolitely. We will change the situation on the streets and at the borders. People in some cities have been courageously attempting to block ICE facilities. And here in Boston at 4 o'clock this afternoon, you can join Cosecha, Fire, and other organizations at Wellington Park across from the Mass Ave Orange Line T station as we march over to the South Bay Jail and Detention Center to demand an end to all cooperation with ICE. Finally, we must demand much more than freeing the children who are being held hostage and reuniting their families. We must demand immediate residency. We also need to defend our Muslim relatives. And ensure that Haitian, African, Asian, and Middle Eastern newcomers are not scooped up by ICE either. We need to have solidarity with all those dispossessed by colonialism and U.S. foreign policies, from Puerto Rico to Palestine. By building solidarity between all of our different struggles in Boston and elsewhere, we can build an unstoppable movement and crush ICE.
Thank you, Matoa. Thank you. When we fight, when we fight, when we fight, all right, our next speaker is going to be Fatima.
Hello and assalamu alaikum. I'm Fatima, the Deputy Director at the Muslim Justice League, a local nonprofit founded and led by Muslim women. I want to ask y'all something. Who knows who Stephen Miller is? Thank you for that. So Stephen Miller is part of the current administration. He is somebody who's been pushing white supremacist policies, including the current family separation policy from ICE. But I want y'all to know a little known fact about me, which is I went to university with Stephen Miller. And when Stephen Miller in college started something called Islamofascism Week, a very anti-Muslim set of events, and the Muslim Students Association, we spoke out against it. We did not have people standing with us like you all are here today. We did not have this kind of support. And even just a few years before that, when the Department of Homeland Security and ICE were created, we did not have an outpouring of people like this to stand with communities who were speaking out against this. I say this not to shame people, but because we have to learn from our history to guide us going forward. We have to know that when we leave it up to 9 people on the Supreme Court to decide on the Muslim ban, we have to acknowledge that the Supreme Court has a racist history of upholding white supremacy, from the Dred Scott case to the Korematsu decision to intern Japanese Americans. We have to know that, because moving forward, we cannot afford to think about just replacing individuals in a corrupt system. We have to change that system. But you know what? We can look to our people here in Massachusetts for a big win. We can look to our friends at Families for Justice's Healing, an organization dedicated to ending the incarceration of women and girls. They passed the Primary Caretakers Act so that here in Massachusetts, courts have to consider community alternatives before locking up somebody who is the primary caretaker of a child. As Matoe said, when we talk about family separation, we have to talk about all forms of family separation. And we have to start listening to our people. We have to listen to Muslims on the issues we've been talking about, from Guantanamo to surveillance. We know that national security is a way to push Islamophobic policies like the Muslim ban. But we are not the only ones seen as national security threats. The policies that begin with us
like the creation of the Department of Homeland Security, have been used to create ICE, to militarize local people, because it is indigenous people, black and brown people, immigrants and queer and trans people, and Muslims who are all seen as a national security threat. And let me tell you, these policies do not keep anyone safe. They give the illusion of security to some of us at the expense of the rest of us. Locally here in Massachusetts, we have unfortunately been leading an anti-Muslim program called Countering Violent Extremism, or CVE. And on the surface, you may not know what that means, but Muslims have been pushing back because these programs, these CVE programs, criminalize us for our religion, and especially for being political, for speaking out against war and injustice. They target our local Muslim community like Somali youth, and they claim that they are all on a path to terrorism. So we need you to stand with us, because we know where these programs lead to. We know that these bolster the school-to-prison pipeline. That's right. So we need you to stay with us today and tomorrow, that we will stop CVE in Massachusetts and we will end the Muslim ban nationally. We have to stop criminalizing each other and focus on changing all of the systems and institutions that separate families, from South Bay Jail to ICE and Department of Homeland Security to the Supreme Court. So I hope y'all join our people at South Bay later, and I hope you stand with the oppressed people and your community around you, not just today with these headlines, but every day going forward.
Thank you, Fatima. So our next speaker. Okay. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. All right, next up is Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Last Sunday, and what I saw made me sick to my stomach. I saw cages of human beings. I saw women, talked with women who were fleeing the terrorism of gangs. Women who fled for their lives. I met a father who brought his teenage son here because he was trying to escape the gangs. I spoke with mothers whose children had been taken from them by the United States government. Mothers who have been lied to, mothers who have no idea where their children are, and mothers who told me that at night they believe they can still hear their children cry. I spoke with ICE officials who have no idea how they are going to reunite babies scattered all across this country with their mothers. This isn't about politics. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about human beings. This is about about children held in cages. This is about babies scattered all across this country. This is about mamas who want their children back. President Trump seems to think that the only way to have immigration rules is to rip parents from their families, is to treat rape victims and refugees like terrorists, and to put children in cages. This is ugly, this is wrong, and this is not the way to run our country. The president's deeply immoral actions have made it obvious we need to rebuild our immigration system from top to bottom, starting by replacing ICE with something that reflects our morality and values. This moment is a moral crisis for our country. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "There comes a time when silence is betrayal." We will not be silent. We cannot be silent. We will build a country that reflects our values. That is why we are here. Thank you all. It is an honor to be with you.
We're gonna have transition right now, so we're gonna do some chanting, and we're gonna, we have some multilingual language interpretation. So we have American Sign Language, and we're gonna do some Spanish and English chants right now. Are y'all ready? Yes! El pueblo unido! El pueblo unido! The people united! Jamás será vencido! Jamás será vencido! Will never be divided! No borders! No nations! Stop the deportations! No borders! No nations! Stop the deportation! Okay. Now,
Message to wear white shirt.
stop deportation! No borders, no nations! Stop the deportation! All right. Woo! Now we're gonna have Lydia Neribico from the Matahar Women's Worker Center. Please give her a hand. And Judah!
Thursday, 600 people were arrested in DC, standing with immigrant families. Today, there will be 10,000 of us here, standing with immigrant families. My name is Lydia, member leader of the Matahari Women Workers Center, and I'm happy to see you here. Long before the zero tolerance policy that ripped over 2,000 children from their families, showing us what has been happening to millions of immigrant families here and at the border for decades. My family is one of them. 6 years ago, one morning at 6 a.m., my house was surrounded by ICE agents who snatched my husband in front of us. With my 2 small children watching, and I was 9 months pregnant with my son Judah, who is here with me now. When I cried to the ICE officer, when will we see him? He said, not for a very long time. Not for a very long time. Even though this happened years ago, my children still this day are scared that any moment ICE will come for their parents. We know the trauma that these families are facing, and they will never forget in their lifetime. This is happening to immigrant families every day, at the border and here, in our city, our state, every single day. But I believe in us. I believe in community. I believe that we can protect one another, free families, and unite all, because family belongs together, no matter what. I believe in this because I experienced it thanks to my community, church, and supporters. We collected thousands of petition signatures, made hundreds of calls, and held actions to free my husband. And we did it! He held Judah for the first time when he was 3 months old. Today's rally is just a step forward, but we need to truly work hard after today, every day. Building communities with one another, educating ourselves about the issue, creating community safety networks, changing policy on the city, state, and national level. We have a lot of work to do. Commit here today, ending family separations of all forms. Please do me a favor and take out your phones now. Text together to 66866 to get involved. Our first families belong together. Training for parents and kids will be on Sunday, July 8th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. in downtown Boston. Again, text together to 66866. I believe in us. I believe in communities. Family belongs together. Thank you all.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Up, up with education, down, down with deportation.
Up with education, down with deportation.
When immigration rights are under attack, what do? El pueblo unido, the people united.
Never be divided.
Thank you so much. As Lydia was saying, that we have to connect the city work, the state work with the national work, because immigrants have been in fear here since the beginning, right? And we have the work that we can do here locally. So that's why we're going to be marching from here to the State House to connect it all, because it's beyond just what you see in the news at the border. It's a big international problem. But we will do the work that we have to do where we can, and we're doing it right here together. Are you committed? Are you with me? Say it loud! Say it louder! Yes. Now we're gonna have Congressman Joe Kennedy and Senator Markey.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for for being here. It is great to be here with Elizabeth Warren and Joe Kennedy, who are warriors every day in the United States Congress for you and for what you believe in. Martin Luther King had a dream. He had a dream that no one would be judged by their color, by their race, by their country of origin. Donald Trump also has a dream. He has a dream that you will be judged by your race, by your color, by your country of origin. Donald Trump says that he wants to make America great again. Donald Trump wants to make America hate again. And we are standing up and saying that he will not take our country. We will not allow him to control the agenda of our country. We are going to ensure that he understands that he is in for a fight. You cannot beg for freedom. You have to fight for freedom. And that is what we are doing here in Boston. The great abolitionist leader from Newburyport, William Lloyd Garrison, very cogently said, "With reasonable men I will reason, with humane men I will plead, but to tyrants I will show no quarter." The President of the United States is in a fight with the people of Massachusetts and all of those who believe in freedom across our country. We are going to fight to ensure that we give asylum to those families who need it from Central America. We are going to fight to ensure that those who need temporary protected status get that protection. We are going to fight to ensure that he does not have a deportation army to take innocent people out of the United States of America. We believe in liberty and justice for all, including those who are being criminalized right now. I am going to the border of Mexico for Sunday and Monday, tomorrow and Monday. And I am going to take with me hundreds of letters from children in Massachusetts, and I am going to give them to the children who are incarcerated right now so that they know that the people of Massachusetts love them, that the people of Massachusetts want them reunited with their parents, that the people of Massachusetts know that they should not be sent back to crime, to violence in their hometowns. Massachusetts, thank you. You are the revolutionaries, from the American Revolution to the abolitionist movement, to the suffragette movement, to the gay marriage movement, the Affordable Care Act. Keep this revolution going. Thank you for being here. Now I give you the great Joe Kennedy.
How we doing, Massachusetts? Let's hear it for Senator Markey. Senator, well done, well said. Safe travels tomorrow. Bring the greetings of the Bay State down to the border in Texas. Let those kids, let those families know how we feel. Folks, I cannot tell you how happy I am to see all of you this morning. Thank you for coming. We're here. We are here to reaffirm something that never should have to be said. that children belong with their parents.
Not in cages!
That there is a connection that we share by nature of being human. That anyone can see the humanity in the eyes of a child. And that when the greatest government on earth takes its frustrations out on a 2-year-old little girl or an infant little boy, we stand up and we say, not on our watch. Not while we have something to say about it. Not while you will hear our voices and see our signs. Not while we can march. Not while we can protest.
Vote.
Not while we will stand up and say to the people of Boston and Massachusetts and the United States and around the world, with nearly 650 gatherings just like this one around the planet today, that we will stand up and fight for our humanity and the humanity of our neighbor. We will fight for a government that is as good as the people it seeks to serve. That we see our humanity in the eyes of those children locked in those cages, and we will not accept it. Folks, I will leave you with one last message. You, the thousands of people gathered in this square, are what brought forth an emancipation movement. You brought forth a woman's right to vote. You brought forth gay marriage and equality. We will win. We will win. Might not be today, but it will be tomorrow. We will win. Thank you for being here. Stand up, speak out, keep fighting. Thank you. I'll finish. I just want to recognize the other members of our delegation that have gone to the border. Catherine Clark, Mike Capuano, and a number of others who I believe are here. Thank you for what you're doing too. Thank you.
Who's got the power? We have the power. Who's got the power? We have the power. What kind of power? People power. What kind of power? People power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power?
Immigrant rights are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. No borders, no nations. Stop the deportations. No borders, no nations. Stop the deportations.
No nation! Stop the deportation!
And I want to introduce our next speaker, Mindo, of Asian American Resource Workshop.
Hi everyone. My name is Min and I'm here today with the Asian American Resource Workshop, an organization that builds power within the Asian American communities and members of the Asian Outreach Unit of Greater Boston Legal Service, an organization that provides legal support for working class Asians. Asian immigrants are not immune to the current system of deportation. In fact, 1/3 of undocumented immigrants in Massachusetts are Asians. Asian communities are affected in many ways, from termination of TPS for Nepali communities to targeted deportations of the Southeast immigrants and refugees. I am here today to tell my community story. I was born in Vietnam and immigrated to Boston when I was 8. Immigrant children, like me, are being separated from their families and parents every day. In Massachusetts and all across the country, we are seeing an increased targeted deportation of Southeast Asian immigrants and refugees. They are being ripped apart from people, their families, from homes, communities. Southeast Asian Asians represent the largest refugee community ever to be resettled in the United States after U.S. imperialism in Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam in the 70s and 80s. In Laos, we have the second biggest Cambodian community. In Laos, we have the second largest Cambodian community in the country. In Boston, we have one of the largest Vietnamese community. Folks who came here as immigrants and even refugees are now being deported away from their parents, their children, their families. Southeast Asians are 3 to 4 times more likely to be deported based on the convictions that are decades old. These people fled war and persecution, seeking U.S. for safety. Many came as young people. They were born on boats or refugee camps. And after coming to U.S., encountered the system that have remained unchanged, that criminalize working class communities and people of colors, failing to protect our communities and families. These same people barely have any memories of the country that they will or already have been deported to, where they will struggle to find a new life without their families and support system. And I ask everyone here today to have empathy, to understand where an individual has been, to stand in their shoes, see their perspective, understand that families deserve to stay together. No one should be kept from the place they call home. No one should be kept away from people they call family. No one deserves to lose people that are their precious members of the communities. These people have gone through enough, and it is time that they deserve to stay together. Prisons, immigration detentions, and deportations all do the same thing. Rip people from their families and communities. Everyone here today, let's rise to protect these people of color, every person of color, every immigrant, for their rights to remain. Together, we raise our hands and voices, stand in solidarity with those who are far from their homes. We can't, but not for deportation.
Damn it!
No more deportation!
No one more deportation!
Not one more deportation!
No truck, please. Coming along to the left. Thank you very much. Thank you. Top to meet up with the fire truck, please. Coming along to the left. Thank you very much.
See the light, what you gonna do? Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, yeah. Stand up for your right. Get up.
I hope you got lots of water. The name of the band is, we're a bunch of Latino musicians. Ignorant way. Well, your wall is not the answer. Neither are your economic plans. Well, we're going to find a way.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Good afternoon, friends. My name is Lily Wong, and I'm the co-director of Massachusetts Jobs with Justice. Jobs with Justice is a coalition of over 160 unions, community groups, organizations, and people of faith. We've been fighting for workers' rights right here in Massachusetts for 25 years. Together with our coalition and with you, we are building an intersectional movement where working class people, immigrants, women, people of color, LGBTQ people, all have a voice in shaping our future.
All right, are you ready? Perfect. My name is Jose Palma. I'm the coordinator of the Massachusetts TPS committee. Let's give it up for TPS recipients. All right, the Massachusetts TPS committee is a group of people with TPS that are organizing, fighting to achieve permanent residency, and we need you. Are you with us? Thank you. It is so great to see so many people coming together because we know this is not only one thing issue. This is the community issue, and we need to be together. Are we together?
Jose and I met 8 years ago, camping out in front of the Massachusetts State House during our Mass Hope Vigil in 2010 against anti-immigrant amendments right here in Massachusetts. We slept outside of the State House for 2 weeks. We had legislators visit us. We had visitors and delegations from organizations, and we organized and we won. We defeated those anti-immigrant amendments right here in our state. Together, and with hundreds of others, thousands of others, we have rallied to stop deportation at ICE's New England office in Burlington, Massachusetts, to shut down the Suffolk Detention Center, and to go all the way to Washington, D.C., so the people can hear our voice. We demand justice. We're here to say we're strong and we're resilient and we'll fight back.
Yeah. But as Lily mentioned, the anti-immigrant attacks on immigrant families and the separation of children and their families is not new. But today, we are called here because the last few weeks we have seen this administration escalating, attacking, and the attacks to our community. From the separation and detention of the immigrant children and their parents, to the Muslim ban, to increased detention and deportation of Massachusetts family. Thank you so much for showing up. And if you are new today, we welcome you to the movement. Let's continue organizing. Let's achieve some change. Thank you for
immigrant families and the separation of children and their families are not new. We are seeing these attacks escalate on an unprecedented level. Families still separated. Families still separated. Mass tent city jails to hold parents with kids. Children defending themselves in immigration court. Is that right? No, and we won't stand for it. The Trump administration has come after with people with protections like DPS and DACA, has detained and deported families and individuals at the border and right here in Massachusetts, and funneled billions of dollars to corporations profiting off of the detention and deportation machine. Most recently, ICE agents separated thousands of children from their parents at the border, and only after public outcry that family said they belong together did he issue an executive order to keep families together indefinitely in detention. Boo! Shortly after the Supreme Court ruled to uphold the Muslim ban, keeping families from majority Muslim countries separated from their loved ones right here in the US and normalizing Islamophobia. Is that right? No. Is that just? No. Is that what our communities want? No. What we want is justice. And why don't we already have the justice we all deserve? Because injustice is a big business. Detaining and deporting our immigrant neighbors means more profit for Geo Group, which runs for-profit prisons, General Dynamics, which makes bullets and guns and jails immigrant kids, and Microsoft, which enables ICE agents to terrorize our communities. Criminalizing our brothers and sisters divides working people and makes it easier for them to exploit all of us. Is that right? No. Is that just? No. Is that what we want for the working class? No. Is that what we want for our immigrant neighbors? No. What we want is justice. Not tomorrow, but today. This is the day when we wake up to the leadership of immigrants and people of color fighting for freedom. This is the day when we take the lead of the people most affected. This is the day we take back power from corporations and right-wing extremists. This is the day.
All right. So, as I said, my name is Jose. I'm also a TPS holder, and I have been in the U.S. for the last 20 years. I think that this is, for many of us, this is personal, this is a community, this is the place we belong to, and that's why we are here today. And as Lily was mentioning, we all need to be together, and we have to be strong, and we have to be united. So today, we're going to hear about some very strong speakers who's going to share with us who they are, what they are doing, and why they are here today with us. And let's start with some speakers to start getting ready and learning more about what's going on in our community. And as Lily mentioned, to follow the lead of those people that are going to be affected or are getting affected for what is happening in our community, in our immigrant community.
So, please welcome Kelly Gilfranco, Boston Teachers Union member, Boston Public Schools teacher, Boston Public School students with her, and the American Federation of Teachers Massachusetts, and the American Federation of Teachers National.
All right, let's welcome. Raise your hand in the back to make sure you are listening. Okay, great.
Our demand is clear and from their parents. End family separation and detention in all forms, from jailing families in detention centers to upholding the Muslim ban. End the Muslim ban. Congress can and must overturn and dismantle Trump's Muslim ban and similar policies that target Muslim communities. Our following speakers are going to speak truth to justice, and I'm so happy to welcome Kelly, Boston Teachers Union, President of the Boston Teachers Union, Jessica Tang, President of the American Federation of Teachers, Randy Weingarten. Woo!
All right, let's give it up.
All right, keep doing.
Buenas tardes, familia. Good afternoon, family. My name is Kelly Gilfranco, and I have been a Boston Public School teacher and a Boston Teacher Union member since 2012. As an educator, I have the responsibility of designing engaging lessons that encourage my students to think critically about the world. During school, I try my best to offer my students the most welcoming learning environment where they can feel safe, appreciated, and excited to pursue academic and recreational opportunities. Every year, the Boston Public Schools enrolls over 17,000 English language learners, representing 31% of the district's total student population. There's also an additional 13% of students who are former English learners. This is showing us that BPS has one of the most diverse student immigrant populations in this state. When a government, such as the one that we currently have, actively promotes xenophobia, we begin to experience racist violence in our communities. So far, in America, we have seen a drastic increase of hate crimes and the mass incarceration of innocent children and families. In the classroom, we are experiencing a devastating socio-emotional impact in our students and our community as a whole. Our children come to school with fear that they or their relatives will be deported one day. Many even frequently report harassment from police and other authorities. From the day President Trump was elected, my kids were crying in the classroom. Teachers were overwhelmed because our children are being terrorized. Many of my high school students are even dropping out of after-school activities such as sports and clubs. This is because parents are afraid that their kids will not be able to come home. Some students have even started to shut down and become more isolated. Two of my students who graduated with honors last year are currently facing deportations to Honduras and El Salvador. Last month, my 15-year-old student came to school crying after her political asylum case was denied. You could see the fear and desperation in her eyes. I was only able to give her a hug and I stayed with her during lunchtime just because she was not able to join her friends, never mind sharing her unpredictable future with her peers. The trauma and other mental health problems that Islamophobia and these unfair immigration policies are generating among our children are by all means a humanitarian crisis. We must collectively take an action by making sure that our local police will not inquire about immigration status. Now more than ever, it is highly important to stop collaboration with ICE and we must provide basic due process protections. By all means, we should not allow registries on religion or nationality. And we must demand from our elected officials to protect immigrant children and their families by passing the Safe Communities Act provisions in our state budget. Thank you. So we're gonna have one of our students share a speech that she wrote last night.
My name is Emily. I'm 10 years old. Both of my parents are immigrants. Since I wasn't alive when my parents came to the U.S., I don't know how it would feel to leave behind everything you know to get a better life. But lately, I have been hearing that there are many kids, even younger than me, who have to leave their schools and homes just to come to the U.S. I'm happy that my parents got here safely, but some parents and children didn't, just because they weren't born here. That my parents got here safely, but some parents and children didn't, just because they weren't born here. And it's not fair. Not fair to them, not fair to the parents, and not fair to anyone. My mother says that people come to the U.S. because it's the best country. But to be completely honest, the way we are treating others doesn't show it. Sacrifice their lives just to get here. They don't deserve to get their children taken away from them. These kids have rights. They deserve beds to sleep in, food to eat, and especially love from their parents. Immigrants make the U.S. a special place, and people need to accept that. Some people say that we children don't understand what's going on with our government, but trust me, we do. And I'm old enough to know that it's not right to separate our families.
My name is Anna Garish, and I have the privilege of introducing two of my students, Juliana and Jasmine, who are each going to read a poem that they wrote in the past year in their school at the Margarita Muniz Academy in Jamaica Plain. These poems will be in Spanish and English, so please give a warm welcome to Juliana.
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Juliana y como muchos presentes, yo también soy una inmigrante. El día de hoy voy a presentar un poema que fue inspirado por toda la injusticia que está existiendo en todos los países latinoamericanos. Este poema yo lo quise dedicar a toda Latinoamérica por muchas razones, porque muchos países están pasando por una crisis que me rompe el corazón. Las elecciones que están pasando en muchos países están siendo corruptas, no le están dando el poder al pueblo. Pero hoy les voy a presentar mi poema titulado Injusticia Social. Títeres somos todos, que siendo hermanos nos explotamos los unos a los otros. por la ambición de las malas entrañas que abusan de vosotros los necesitados, los que trabajamos como burros, aun cuando estamos agotados, y cuando ya nos damos y abogamos, nos callan. La esclavitud no ha sido abolida, ha sido modernizada. Las alimañas, políticos corruptos, corporaciones putefactas, ricos insolentes que viven como quieren, con privilegio, a base del trabajo de los pobres que se joden la vida. A la alimaña se le hace justicia y al pobre se le condena de la nada. Los titiriteros son políticos con dinero que hacen lo que quieren con el pueblo. Como títeres, seguimos lo que dicen los titiriteros. Y el titiritero mayor es quien decide por todos, sin importar lo que quiere el pueblo, ya que lo hace solo por el beneficio de él. Y cuando un titiritero se le trata de escapar de las manos, le hace daño en silencio. Cuando queremos hablar y defendernos, desaparecemos. El problema es que dejamos que el tiritero haga lo que quiere con nosotros. Nos separa para no unir fuerzas, para prevenir nuestra lucha como hermanos que somos, la cual crisis humanitaria que separa a las familias inmigrantes nos debe de indignar y necesitamos actuar. No podemos seguir siendo manipulados por la propaganda a nuestro alrededor y debemos hacer un llamado fuerte para la población, para la liberación de todas las familias de los centros de detención. Debemos de exigir un trato digno para que reconozca la contribución de las familias inmigrantes en este país. Gracias. Hello, my name is Jasmine, and for those who didn't understand, I will be saying her poem in English, but it's totally hers. I got my own. Okay, so this poem is called Social Injustice. Puppets we are all, that being brothers we exploit each other for the ambition of the bad guts, who abuse you the needy. Those of us who work like donkeys even when we are exhausted, and we no longer give and we plead, they shut us up. Slavery has not been abolished, it has been modernized. The vermin corrupt politicians, rotten corporations, insolent rich who live as they want. With the privilege based of the work of the poor that sacrifices their lives, the vermin gets justice, and the poor man is condemned from nothing. The puppeteers are politicians with money, who do what they want with the people. As puppets, we follow what the puppeteers say, as the greatest puppeteer is the one who is deciding for all, no matter what the town wants, since he does it only for his benefit. And when a puppeteer tries to escape from his hands, it hurts him in silence. When we want to speak and defend ourselves, we disappear. The problem is that we let the puppeteers do what he wants with us. He separates us to prevent us from joining forces. We must be outraged with the certain humanitarian crisis that separates immigrants' families. We must act in unified forces. We cannot continue to be manipulated by the propaganda around us. We must make a strong call for the release and unification of all the families from the detention centers. We demand a dignified treatment that recognizes the contribution of immigrant families into this country.
Teachers Union, thank you American Federation of Teachers. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds.
action? All right. Get ready. I'm going to give you a number. Write the number down, and you can start taking actions right now. All right, you ready? Text SAFE MA, SAFE MA. And the number and text 52AA6. 52AA6. And ask your representative to take action and stand for immigrant families in Massachusetts and to urge House leadership to make a priority to include the safe community protections in the budget conversations. Will you do that?
Yeah!
All right, let's do
it. If you are hot, you know we're all hot, there is free water around the tents and there are bottles donated by the Massachusetts Nurses Association. Please get some free water. There are medics with red crosses. If you need to see a medic, please do. And there are medical tents around the stage. Please stop by if you need some assistance or call a marshal in an orange vest to help you out, okay? Next, I want us to take a breath. We're going to hear a very important story from Sirle Cervera Pachau and her interpreter, Luana Masson. I'm going to let Sirle tell her story and Luana to interpret, but we're really, really amazed at her resilience, her strength, her beliefs when faced with family separation.
All right, let's welcome them. Okay.
Olá, meu nome é Sirley.
Hello, my name is Sirle.
Tenho 30 anos.
I am 30 years old.
Sou brasileira.
I'm a Brazilian.
E eu e meu filho somos vítimas.
My son and I are victims
das leis de imigração.
The policies of immigration.
Tem 37 dias que não vejo meu filho.
37 days that I don't see my son.
E isso é desumano.
This is inhumane.
Porque eu não tenho liberdade nem de falar com ele no telefone.
Because I have no liberty not even to speak with my son over the phone.
Todas as ligações são monitoradas.
All the calls are monitored.
Meu filho não fala sozinho comigo.
My son cannot even speak alone with me.
Eu agradeço a todos vocês pelo movimento.
I thank you all for coming out today. This is such very extreme importance
para ajudar nós que somos mães e estamos desesperadas.
To help us who are desperate mothers trying to reunite with their children.
E eu não quero que apenas o meu filho saia de lá. Eu quero que todos os filhos sejam entregues às suas mães.
I don't want only my son to be released, but I want all the children to be reunited with their parents.
Nós merecemos isso.
We deserve this.
Porque viemos para os Estados Unidos pedir ajuda.
Because we came to the United States seeking help.
E nunca imaginamos que isso ia acontecer.
And we never imagined that this could happen.
Então eu peço, por favor.
So I beg everyone.
Solta essas crianças.
Please release these children.
Entrega meu filho para mim.
Give my son back to me.
Ele está desesperado, ele pede para vir para casa.
He is desperate, asking me, Mom, take me home.
Tá muito difícil.
It's very difficult for me.
Já está se tornando insuportável o que eu estou vivendo.
I cannot support this any longer.
Eu peço a vocês, continuem na luta, não
I beg
parem.
you all, please fight and continue fighting.
Porque nós vamos conseguir.
Because we will win.
Eu queria agradecer.
I would like to thank
aos meus advogados,
my attorneys,
Jeff
Goldman
e Jesse
and Jesse
e toda a
Bless
sua equipe.
and all their team.
Ontem uma brasileira conseguiu encontrar com seu filho.
A Brazilian mother through their law firm was released
Graças
and
a essas
reunited
pessoas,
because of them.
Eu tenho fé, não que só o meu vai chegar na minha casa, mas o de todos os imigrantes que lá estão.
I have faith and I believe that not only my son will be released, but every child will be reunited with their parents. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You guys are doing great. Thank you. Keep it up.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's do a very quick chant. No hate, no fear, no fear. Everyone is welcome here. No hate, no fear. Everyone is welcome here. No fear.
No fear. Everyone is welcome here. No hate. No fear. Everyone is welcome here.
Thank you.
No fear.
Thanks. Thank you. Give it up for yourself.
Okay, so next we're going to connect the dots. We're going to find out what's really going on. I'm inviting Anwar Omesh from the Phillips Brooks Association up to the stage.
All right, let's give it up. Let's welcome them.
Hi, folks. I'm very small. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the organizers for putting this together. 2 years ago, when my grandfather visited the United States for the first time, my mother was the happiest that I have ever seen her. Last Tuesday, my mother found out that she might never see her father again. Now she is considering going to Libya with a target on her back. But I do not want to lose my mother in her attempt to not lose her father. My family belongs together too. As a Muslim and Libyan American, this time of family separation and immigrant criminalization is frightening. But even as it is frightening, I know that it is not new. This country has been separating families since before it existed. My own family has been targeted for decades, marginalized by racist and anti-Muslim national security infrastructure that criminalizes political resistance and weaponizes immigration status. And from enslaved Muslims to the Barbary Wars to the targeting of the Nation of Islam to the war on terror creation of ICE and the Department of Homeland Security after 9/11 to the Muslim ban and its Obama-era precedents, Muslim communities have always been a central part of America's narrative of the menacing other. Like the other communities we stand alongside today, we have always been a part of this country's history of exclusion and separation. And instead of addressing that, instead of looking our body count in the eyes, our Supreme Court chose to uphold those shameful histories this week. It chose to join the president in reaffirming the long American tradition of family separation, of hearts stretched across borders that don't really exist in the first place. But we know that what is legal in this country is not always what is right. These histories may be long, and our work may be cut out for us, but we are nothing if not stubbornly resilient. So beyond this rally, we need to commit to a process of organizing our own communities, calling out our own friends, confronting our own complicity. We need to push Massachusetts to lead in supporting immigrant communities and
Thank you so much, Anwar. Woo! Thank you for speaking truth to justice. Next, I'm going to invite my friend Antonio Massa Viana to share his story.
Hello, Boston. You can do better than that. Hello, Boston. I want DC to hear us. Mr. Trump, can you hear us? Come on, you can do better. Woo! Folks, my name is Antonio Viana. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I am mad as hell. And if you're not angry, if you're not mad, if you're not frustrated, it's because you haven't been paying attention. I say this a lot, and I will remind you today, what's going on in our country is not normal. These times are not normal. It is not normal for a government to have a policy that takes away children from their mothers. It's not normal for a government to put kids in cages. It is not normal for a government to take asylum seekers at the border and tell them, if you turn back, we'll return your kids. We're using children as hostages. You can't make up this stuff, folks. You can't make this up. Now, what you may not see, because this is not in the news, is that this is only the tip of the iceberg. Because for months on end, children are being separated from their parents right here in the Commonwealth. Right here. That's not making the news. We are living in a country today where mothers and fathers are being pulled from their families and from their U.S. citizen children right now, right here. We're living in a country today where people may go into an interview at immigration and get detained right there. It makes no sense. The government tells you to come so they can detain you. We're living in a country today where a victim of domestic violence will go into a courtroom and be afraid because ICE is roaming around the courtroom and she cannot report that violence, that abuse. Is this the country we want? No! This is not the country we want. No! And this makes my blood boil. And it should make yours too. Now, how do we channel that anger? How do we channel that madness? How do we channel that frustration? This is called a rally for a reason. It's because we're rallying our troops. It's because we need to get to work. It's because we cannot let our heads down. So this is what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to make you one ask. First, actually I'm going to make you two. First, change of mind. First, this does not end when you leave here this afternoon. It cannot, folks. You cannot go home today and say, I did my part because I marched. It can't. You need to connect with your grassroots communities. You need to connect with immigrant families and see where you can help. The second thing I needed, I love you. I love you. That's the attitude. Right there. That's the energy. Second thing, amen to that. I hope I get to 70 like that. The second thing I'm going to ask you, and Jose Palma spoke to this. This is truly important. There is an amendment right now being considered at the budget. Safe communities. This is what it does. It tells the government that we're not going to use our money here in the Commonwealth to help ICE and Mr. Trump do its dirty work of separating families. So on Monday, I need you, we need you to call your legislators, call your reps, call your senator, call the governor, and tell them that we need safe communities right now. Folks, let me tell you what's going on in New Hampshire, right across our border. Person goes up to the beach, drives down on 93. State police officer looks at him, thinks that he doesn't look quite like us, stops that person and asks that person for papers. The person has no papers, they turn the person over to immigration. That's not what we want in Massachusetts. That's why we need the Safe Communities Act right now. Now, I'm looking at that American flag right there. Look up. Come on. Let me see it. You're here today. You're here today because you believe that what binds us is stronger than what sets us apart. You believe that everyone in this country should get a fair shot, irrespective of what they look like, of what they sound like, of where they come from, of whether they are black or white or gay or straight or woman or man. And in order for us to get that fair shot, in order for us to make this happen, we need to take our country back, and we need to act, and we need to go home, and we need to march, and we need to call your reps, and we need to keep working. Let's take our country back. Thank you.
All right, you guys want to chant that? Let's do it. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it. Okay, I love it. So there are some people going with some buckets. That's all right. All right. So you will see some people with some buckets that say donation. That's another way you can take actions, because this rally costs money and organizing costs money. And if we want to make a difference, we have to stay away from compromising and fundraise from our own people, from people that want to really see the change. So you can start taking action. Are you going to take action right now? All right, perfect.
All right, y'all, I'm happy to invite 3 Latinx women to come up and share the amazing work that we all did together. You all made our voices loud and clear. No family detention. No family detention. No family separation. No Muslim ban. So, come on up. Okay, so these lovely people are going to read our co-sponsor list of how we grew and how we rapidly responded in 7 days. We made this happen in 7 days.
What's up, Boston? First, I want to say that if you haven't donated to these white buckets, y'all better donate at least $1. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that today, please go to the GoFundMe page, which is Fund Together and Free. Fund, singular, Fund Together and Free. GoFundMe page. Go donate. Now, my name is Sara Ramirez, and I am here for the people who cannot be here today. The children and families detained, separated, incarcerated people, and all people who fear arrest and violence. That's why I'm here. Thank you for being here today. Now, Natalie Sanchez, Melissa Luna, from March Forward, Massachusetts, and I will be reading a list of sponsors who made all of this possible today. I ask that you please hold your applause until we're done reading this very special and important list. You ready? Yeah. All right. Co-sponsors are ACLU Massachusetts, Action Together Mass, class, American Friends Service Committee, or AFSC, AFT Massachusetts, or American Federation of Teachers, Answer, Act Now to Stop War and End Racism, Anti-Racism Collaborative, Asian American Resource Workshop, or AARW, Boston Chapter of Black and Pink, Boston May Day Coalition, Boston Democratic Socialists of America, or DSA, Boston Feminists for Liberation, Boston Interpreters Collective, Boston Teachers Union, or BTU, Boston Workers Circle, Brazilian Women's Group, Brazilian Worker Center, Brockton Workers Alliance, Cambridge Area Stronger Together, Cambridge Bethlehem People to People Project, CARE Massachusetts, Chelsea Collaborative, Chelsea Uniting Against the War, Chinese Progressive Association, and CSPES, Committee in Solidarity with the People of El Salvador, Citizens for Public Schools, Community Labor United, Dominican Development Center, ECCO, EBEC, End Family Separation, or New England Chapter, the New England Chapter of End Family Separation, Families for Justice as Healing, FIRE, or Fight for Immigrants and Refugees Everywhere.
The Jane Doe Inc. Guys, bear with us. This is a long list.
Hang in there.
And write these names down if you haven't heard of them. Get involved. You want to learn how to do more? Start reaching out to some of these groups. Jane Doe Inc., the MA Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence, Grassroots International, Health and Law Immigrant Solidarity Network, HRC New England, IF Not Now Boston, Indivisible Massachusetts, Institute for Justice and Democracy, Irish International Immigrant Center, International Socialist Organization, New England Jewish Labor Committee, Neighbor to Neighbor Jewish Voice for Peace, Justice for Shiam, La Comunidad, LULAC Northeast, Lynn Worker Center, March for Our Lives, March Forward Massachusetts, MCAN, Massachusetts Communities in Action, Mass Coast, Mass Peace Action, Massachusetts, I got all the Massachusetts, of course, Massachusetts Interfaith Worker Justice, Mass Jobs with Justice, Mass Nurse Association, MNA, Mass Teachers Association, Mass TPS Committee, Matahari Women's Workers Center, Mira Coalition, Muslim Justice League, NARAL Pro-Choice Massachusetts, New Bedford Workers Center, Centro Comunitario de Trabajadores. I butchered that last part. Our Revolution, Massachusetts.
Phillips Brooks House Association, PBHA, Planned Parenthood of Massachusetts, Pioneer Valley Workers Center, Progressive Democrats of Massachusetts, Queer South Asian Collective, Revere Youth in Action, RIA, ROC, Restaurant Opportunities Center, Boston, St. Francis of Assisi, Science for People, SEIU 32BJ, SEIU 509, SEIU 1199, SEIU State Council, SEIU Community Action, Student Immigrant Movement, SIM, SURGE, Standing Up for Racial Justice, the Alliance for Water Justice in Palestine, United American Indians of New England, Unite Here Local 26, UU Mass Action, United for a Fair Economy, UAW Local 2320, NOLSW, National Organization of Legal Service Workers, USW Local 8751, Boston School Bus Drivers, Young Democrats of Massachusetts, Youth Action March, Waltham Concerned Citizens, Waltham Immigrant Solidarity Committee, Watertown Citizens for Peace, Justice, and the Environment, Workers' World Party Boston, and 350 Mass for a Better Future.
Put your hands together now for all these fantastic organizations that are standing with us and made this happen today. Thank you so much. Donate. Donate.
Are we ready for some music? ¿Estamos listos para escuchar música? Ok, perfecto. Vamos a darle la bienvenida a nuestros compañeros.
Solaba mi condena, correr en mi destino, por no llevar paz.
When she was this detention, and she'll tell us a little bit more about her experiences. She'll tell us a little bit about her difficulties with a video recording that we will play right now.
First and foremost, I wanted to take the time to thank everyone for taking the time to show up today so as to mark their position in today's critical time in history. And say that I stood up to fascism, I stood up to hatred, I stood and said, no, not in my name, not using my tax dollars. These inhumanities, these cruelties are not going to be perpetrated in my name. Separating children from their parents is just a symptom of hatred, a symptom of how degenerated this humanity that we live in has become. I wanted to thank you on behalf of all mothers separated from their children and all children who are terrified and separated from their mothers. All this pain caused by ICE and perpetrated under the pretext of keeping America safe is actually not keeping anyone safe. I don't understand how my child's fear and pain is keeping anyone safe at all. I disagree with that statement. I believe that America has done okay without ICE and can go back to that and do better without ICE. ICE is a 16, 17-year-old organization that have done nothing but commit atrocities and pretending that it's just their job. It is not their job. It is not a necessity. And it is time that we abolish ICE. Thank you for showing up today, and thank you for standing by.
Thank you. So, as the Justice for Saham campaign, our focus is raising funds, supporting her, bringing her story to light. Being deported means you're not forgotten. You are not forgotten when you are deported, and we are here to support her. Now, all of you here who also are on our page, please find us by the merry-go-round. We have a table. We're selling shirts, pins. We have info. We have ways to plug you into this work. And this work is the vital difference between her reuniting with her son Nassim or not. So it's up to us, it's up to you, it's up to all of us to make sure we take those actions. So please, find us at the table by the merry-go-round. We're selling shirts, raising funds for legal funds. And again, thank you for coming.
Okay. All right. Do you want to hear one more reason why to continue getting engaged and doing some organizing? Do you want to hear that? Okay. Now, we're going to welcome a very strong woman who has been doing a lot of organizing, who has been sharing her story with so many people about TPS, Temporary Protective Status. So let's welcome Dori Landaverde, who's a member of the SEIU 32BJ and Massachusetts TPS committee. Let's welcome Doris and a group of people with TPS and supporters. Dori, where are you? All right, let's give it up for Doris.
It's amazing to see everybody today here to say is my situation too. There have been attacks in every part of who I am. I am an immigrant from El Salvador, and I have been in this country for 18 years. With temporary protected study after the earthquake. This year, 400,000 TPS holders like me were given just months to leave this country. That's what we call home for decades. I am janitor at Harvard University in Charles Stewart and CIU 22BA. Last week, we saw the Supreme Court try to dismantle the ability of million union workers to fight for ourselves and organizer. When they ruled the Janus versus ASME case, an organizer in Harvard TPS coalition to fight with my members, the CIU unit here, Harvard graduate students, and ASME. Immigrants' justice is a union issue. And I also work with the Committee of Massachusetts. Amazing organizers do a great job for TPS holders in Massachusetts. I am also practicing Muslim. And last week, decision to keep the Muslim ban was an attack in our democracy. Because it's injury to one, it's injury to all. I have 3 daughters who are American citizens. I work hard to create a good life for them, a life where they be safe and support and they grow up and learn. I was appealed to see the picture of their families in the borders. It's inhuman to separate children from their parents. Now we face the centric right here in Boston. If I lost my temporary protected status and they deport me, my family will be separate too. I fear the next year, every TPS family in our community will face the same fate. I am here to fight for every immigrant family in the border to remain together and free. Will you fight alongside me? Parents will be torn from their children when are forced to return to our country that the United States war asks U.S. citizen children for visiting. That's why immigrants like me need all of you. I am a worker, I am an immigrant, and I am Muslim. All those fight for justice to hand in hand. I know one thing. Nobody will take care of my daughters like how I take care of them. Nobody will work harder to give them the life they deserve. So I am here fighting for my just she wanna say a little sentences for you.
And I'm here to say that this is not right. This not only affects TPS recipients, but we the children. We are the future and we need your support. We need your help to turn TPS residents into residency. Thank you.
Okay, let's give it up for the TPS. All right, somebody was telling me we have to chant the last very popular within our movement. Abolish ICE.
Abolish ICE!
Abolish
ICE!
Abolish
ICE!
Abolish. Just a very brief announcement. George Gonzalez, we have your phone over here in the back. So just come to the back. George Gonzalez, your phone is here. Okay, so, Lily. All right, let's give it up. Let's welcome the student immigrant movement. Okay.
Please repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Okay, thank you. Those are some words from Asada Shakur. Ground ourselves in this hard work that we do. My name is Valeria DeVale. I'm 20 years old, the director of the Student Immigrant Movement, and this is my team. Growing up poor in northern Brazil, my mom, a survivor of domestic violence, resorted to baking goods and selling them in crates on a bike around town. She made sure my sister and I never went hungry and that we always had clothes. When I was 7, I crossed the border with my mom and sister in a 20-day journey from Brazil to the US, where I was separated from my mom and my sister, wondering when I would see them again. This was in 2004. We were hungry, we were sleep-deprived, dirty, and without money, completely and utterly at the mercy of strangers. Thankfully, I was able to reunite with my family, but for the past 13 years, the scariest thing has been the thought of losing each other every single day. Have you ever feared or endured the loss of a loved one? If so, then this is your fight too. The Student Immigrant Movement is a Massachusetts statewide immigrant youth-led organization. As part of a team called Boss Cops, we've been leading the fight to stop inhumane enforcement in Massachusetts, targeting immigrant, Muslim, brown, black, and other marginalized communities alike. Because their fight is our fight. And the department, for example, the Department of Homeland Security was created after 2002. It has been used to target Muslim and immigrant communities. Immigration Customs and Enforcement, ICE, was created in 2003. An unregulated entity now has been terrorizing our immigrant community since then. No more. Because if these institutions can be created by a few people in power who think they know better, but have never seen or felt the pain that we felt, then they can be destroyed by the masses of people standing in truth and love and justice. Yes. So we are calling today for the abolition of the fusion centers in Massachusetts, like the Boston Regional Intelligence Center, that are hubs of information sharing between federal agencies like ICE and local law enforcement like BPD. These foul collaborations have trespassed into our schools, where students are now being convicted for things that they have shared in these databases that have no grounds whatsoever. We are ready to hold all accomplices accountable, and we are asking that you do too. And you can start today. We are calling for reinvestment in our communities with more job, healthcare, and education opportunities for all, regardless of immigration status or regardless of your background. We are calling for driver's licenses for undocumented folks, which has been on the table forever, and we still have not gotten it. We are asking to put an end to 287Gs in Massachusetts, and we are asking for safe communities now. It is time, because justice delayed is justice denied, and we are asking you to delay no further. So we are asking you to join us. Today, the student immigrant movement and others are going to meet up at 4 p.m. at Wellington Park Common, right across from Mass Ave, to shut it down at South Bay. Because there's currently, as we speak, there are families separated in those jails and prison and detention centers right now here in Massachusetts. And we must let them know that we are fighting for them, that we care, and that they must know that there is hope, because we will unite, we will build, we will fight, and we will win. Thank you.
What do we want? No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. I got you. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so our last speaker is Natalicia Tracy. Woo! Executive Director of Brazilian Worker Center, a freedom fighter for decades. Please welcome her to the stage.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? You know, I've been working with many of you for many years now, and when I think it's bad, it's not gonna get worse, it gets worse. Unfortunately. And it's great to see all of you here today, because we need that energy. And we need to know that you are paying attention, because that's enough. We need to say that's enough. I spent a week with a couple of mothers, and most of the time I able to comfort them. But this week I end up spending most of the time crying with them, because they're being separated from their children. I wanted them to come here today, but because they're still not with their children yet, and we don't know yet when they're going to be united with their children, they said that they couldn't have the strength to be here. But she sent a message that she wanted you to hear. And so I'm going to read it to you, the message. I came to this country with my 9-year-old in search of refuge. And instead, my son was ripped from my arms, screaming, and put into cages. It was 15 days before they told me where my son was. I lost all my parental rights. They won't tell me where my son is. They have made decisions on my son's life. They have moved my son from one state to the other. I can't sleep. I can't eat. The whole time I think about my son. I wonder if he's okay. Because I remember being in a cell, cold, hungry, and feeling alone. And knowing the children on the other cell were the same way. The children cried day and night. There was no one there to comfort them. I can't sleep because I'm wondering if someone is comforting my son. Where is the heart of this country? Where is the heart? Why are my son not with me? Why was my son taken from me? This is not okay. I don't wish what I'm feeling in no one. No mother should be feeling what I'm feeling. I'm sending you this message because I'm asking for help. That you call your senator, that mothers like me that are looking for a better life for our son. I came here to escape violence, to save my son's life. I need your help. I need everyone's help. Please help all the other children who are crying day and night. Thank you. It is extremely difficult to spend time with the mothers and seeing that the children are treating worse than an animal is treated. It is outrage to see how the system changing the rules overnight to delay reunification of parent and child. We've been fighting, and every day is a new rule. Every day is something new. They don't know what they're doing out there, and they're playing with the children and families' life, and that's not acceptable. We as family, we as community, we have the moral responsibility to speak up because we have children too. And we believe in family values, and we have to protect our family because together we make up a community. So please, call the senator right here because they are responsible for everyone who is here in this state. Call the governor and let them know that there's no place for hate here in Massachusetts. There's no place for hate. We will keep hate out of this state. Keep hate out of Massachusetts. Keep hate out of our community. We must protect our families because we all came, most of us came from somewhere, and we should treat all the newcomers the same way. So thank you for your time. So keep hate out of the state. Thank you.
Right, give it up for Natalicia. Okay. So a few things. One, we need all families, not just together, but free from detention centers, free from surveillance and bans, and free from fear. Are we okay with that? Okay. The next one, from the border to the Muslim ban to here in Boston, family separation and detentions are inhumane. Families deserve to be together and free. We want the same thing everyone wants. The freedom and opportunity to live, love, and work wherever we choose. Are we good? All right. Second, at the beginning we said the TPS community is organized, and we need to pass a legislation to provide people that have been in this country for more than 20 years permanent residency. But we need you to be with us, not only here in Massachusetts, but across the country, and I hope you can help us to achieve that. Are you ready to join the TPS fight and ready to achieve permanent residence for people with TPS? Are we good? All right, let's do it. Thank you for that.
So just remember, we need you in this fight. This fight is for the long haul. This is a lifelong fight for justice. Remember to text together to 66866 to join the movement, to support the TPS committee, to support the student immigrant movement, to support Muslim Justice League, we need you.
To support Joe with Justice.
Woo! You can also support by donating online to bit.ly, bit.ly/fun together and free, or donating here at our buckets. Your donation will help sustain our movement. Finally, thank you to the USW Local 8751, the Boston school bus drivers, for their sound back at City Hall, connecting the national to the local, the JFK Federal Building, Immigration Court, and ICE here moving past the State House back to local in Boston. Thank you to the marshals, peacekeepers, legal observers, street medics, doctors, Health and Law Solidarity Network that helped provide so many doctors on standby, the M&A donation for their water truck, the La Chusma and La Salsa Band. Thank you to my sisters, Natalia, Tashia, Graciela, Esther, who did the accessibility for today, Vickiana, Jillian, and my beloved brother, Edwin, all of whom threw down in 7 days to make sure this event happened, because we were called to action. We were called to defend our immigrant brothers and sisters. We were called to defend the working class. If 7 people working out of a tiny office in Boston can organize this rally, imagine what thousands of us can do together. Our demand is clear. Immediately reunite all children who were separated from their families. End family separation and detention in all forms, from jailing families in detention centers to upholding the Muslim ban. End the Muslim ban. Congress can and must overturn and dismantle the ban. There are many ways to get involved, but we need you to text the numbers that I said and to join us in the movement. This isn't the first time our government has gotten things wrong, and it won't be the last. Regardless of the actions of this court or this president, we will continue to love and defend one another and to keep our families free. Thank you for the speakers for speaking truth for power, for being resilient and fighting for years and decades to keep families together. I want you to put your hand on your heart and dream of a world where Jose can stay in this country with his babies. Dream for a world where Valeria and her family do not have to live in fear. That we are encouraging their support and we're encouraging their work to make sure all of our families are free. Put your hand on your heart for the Muslim Justice League and all of our Muslim community and neighbors who have to stay resilient and fight back and organize after the recent Supreme Court decision. Put your hand on your heart and dream of another world, because that other world is possible. A world without ICE, a world without detention and deportation, a world where we feel free, where we are together and free, and no one is separated from their family, and no one is separated from their community. We all deserve to be with our family, no matter who we choose to call family, and no matter where we are. Mission possible, that's right. It is a mission possible, and it is our mission to fight and defend each other.
All right, and before we close, let's give it up for Lily, who has been leading us, who has been working hard, and who has been taking the lead in making this to happen with a team of people who are very committed to make this. And remember, and I just want to make sure to say this, many of us are under attack. People with TPS, at least for Salvadorians where I come from, we were told, you have been with TPS for the last 17 years, but you know what? September 19 is your last day with documentation. And I'm afraid But I feel also powerful when I see people like you that are fighting with us, right next to each other, being with Lily, that we were like 8 years ago sitting at that steps fighting anti-immigrant amendments, and we continue fighting. There is nothing more that motivates you to continue organizing when you see people coming to the rally, when you see people coming to meetings, but even more when they continue organizing other people that are not organized. Let's organize, because that's the only way we will achieve the change we deserve and the change we really want to see.
See you in the streets.
All right, we will see you on the street, and let's finish with a chant. No hate.
No fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate.
No fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate.
No fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate.